On this next one, we will be making French seams. So I need you to cut 9 by 12 two pieces of fabric. Alright? So we will need that as a sample to make the seams. Alright? So it's 9 by 12 inches for 2 of these. Hi guys, okay, so this is my fabrics, as you can see. So I placed F, meaning face side, meaning it's the right side that's facing you of the fabric, and then the other side is the wrong side. So I just labeled it like that so at least you don't get confused. So the seam allowance for this will be 1/2 inch. But then we will be sewing, so I'm gonna put the wrong sides together, okay? And then you can see the face side is on the top, and you're wondering, oh, why am I not flipping it over? Because if our seam allowance is going to be 1/2 inch for this French seam, we will be sewing 1/4 first on the face side, okay? So as you can see, there's an F here, meaning face side. Let's go a bit closer. Yes, so face side, and then the other side is face side. So as you can see, in the inside it would be the wrong side. So the reason for that is because we're gonna sew on top. And I know you're confused and wondering why we're sewing on top. So first we're gonna sew 1/4 of an inch, okay? So remember that, 1/4 of an inch we're gonna sew. That's the first thing you should do. So 1/4 of an inch, okay? You have to sew it exactly so that your seams are not uneven. So 1/4, and then just watch if your seams are on the same level. Okay, don't forget to back stitch, it's very important. So this is 1/4. So imagine this is your seam, your side seam, or some panel seam, and you just want to really clean it off. You can use this technique. Because it will really help you clean it. Part is done. So this is 1/4 seam. Now the second part of this, you're like, why did you sew in the face side? Why did you sew the seams on the right side? And now it looks wrong. Don't worry, because we're gonna fix it. So we flip it over to the wrong side, and now it looks like, oh, that should be the right side. And let me tell you, it's not. Because from the seam part, now we're just gonna fold it, and then we'll really pinch to have the seam. So first, before that, okay, right, you see the seam, and let me flip to the other side because it's clearer with a darker stitching. So here, I'm gonna cut just a bit close enough to the stitching of the seam, but don't cut on the seam, okay? Just like in the middle of that seam, you're just like, look at that. I'm just cutting those bits away because you don't want them to be part of the next part what we're gonna do. So basically, we're just gonna cut the seams. Better to just put it down like that. Yes, there. And so it's out of the way, okay? Because this would be just extra fabric that's just gonna get in the way when you sew things together. So just cut a bit out. So it's 1/4 seam allowance on this side. Alright, so I got that bit out, throw it, and then now we go to the wrong side again. Right, now you see it. Oh, Now you see the wrong side after cutting the seam on the face side. So we pinch it down, okay? So at least none of the millimeters of, you know, fabric is eaten inside the seam. You have to always, you know, just move and pinch things down. It's important that you do that. Alright, do it all the way to the end. Okay, so I pinched it. Now, so since this is the wrong side, we are going to sew it. We're going to sew 1/4. So remember, we sewed 1/4 on the face side, and then now this is 1/4. That equivalent, that adds to, sorry, that does add to 1/2 inch, right? So your actual seam allowance total is 1/2 inch. So now again, sew 1/4 of a seam allowance. So really just push it down, pinch it down, so everything looks right. Here we go. It's gonna be exciting, guys. Believe me, you're gonna be like, wow, why didn't we learn this? You're learning it now. Don't forget to backstitch your seams all the time so that they don't unravel. That's the worst thing you can do, is forget to backstitch, I mean, and yeah, your seam unravels. See that? Let's go closer. Come and investigate with me. So, sewing 1/4. Backstitch, lock it, and there. Now I'll show you how the face side, which is the right side again, how it looks. Now let's flip it over. There, it's so clean. So that's what they call the French seam. So this is what you guys would need to do. Right? The French seam, look, it's so clean, you don't see anything basically in the way. And yeah, so if you're doing like the side seams, you can do this technique. So remember, you sew first on the right side, on the face side, 1/4, and then you flip it over, cut a bit of that again, and then you sew on the wrong side 1/4, okay? But don't forget to pinch your seams down, and that's how you get the French seam. Alright? There we go.